Well, good morning, everyone. This is Emily Castro, and I am here with my husband exploring Evergreen Memorial Cemetery in Bloomington, Illinois. Unfortunately, we are busy running some errands, so I was not able to bring the dogs with me, but I did want to stop and explore this cemetery because it looks like it's got a lot of unusual and historical graves. I love the sound of flags flapping in the wind. Such a distinctive and evocative noise. Here we have the tomb of Mrs. A. Davis, 1892. They certainly knew how to bury people in style back in the day. It's quite elaborate. Plum Jackman. Looks like my husband's found something cool over here. I get a vibe that that tree right there is the cemetery guardian tree. I don't even know if cemetery guardian trees are a thing or if I just made it up. But as far as I'm concerned, that's what this is. What did you find? Well, that's interesting. I've never seen a gravestone like that before. Kind of like a prehistoric burial mound look.
Yeah.
This must be for the military dead, the veterans.
That's American.
I mean, it's interesting, since I've started looking in these old cemeteries, I've seen quite a few soldiers who fought in the Spanish-American War. And I guess in my mind it was always like this tiny little blip of a war. I didn't realize so many people from Illinois participated in it. I wonder why Watson Swayer got a bigger grave than the rest of them. I just feel like this seems like a fancy cemetery.
I just think it's an old cemetery. Been here a long time.
That it has. But I'm not seeing a lot of the symbols that I've noticed over and over again in the other cemeteries, like the holding hand symbol, the willow symbol. I wonder why not. Like, they're just more plain and old-fashioned. That might be a dove.
You ever heard of cave study?
I've just gotten really interested in the old symbols on the stones that I've been looking at, and why some of them will seem really common in one gravesite and completely absent in another.
I would say that's good for you. Religious or otherwise.
And yes, I definitely would probably enjoy doing research and writing a paper on it, because that's the kind of person I am. I think.
Find out. Traveling citizen is going through town one day and he has all these gravestones with the same sort of motif.
That's what I'm wondering. If there's reasons like that. Just these wacky, simple reasons.
He was selling them and they just said, okay.
It's like, or there's a sale. There's a sale on willows today. Get your gravestone with a willow.
Well, that's probably what it is, because most explanations are very pedestrian.
That is true.
Who does not want to be
There's always crows hanging around cemeteries. It's a thing crows like to do. Here's some more. Is that William? Or Benjamin? It's Benjamin Depew. Died 1818. Oh, and this one does have the parting drapery symbol with the books. So I found one that's got some of those old symbols I've been looking at. Looks like you've got to find like the really old stones to get those. The Bloomington Cemetery Vault. You know, if there are vampires in this cemetery, I would vote for this being their vault.
locked on the outside?
Well, that's true. They'd have to have one of their minions let them in and out. Give a little overview of the cemetery. I think we're just about smack dab in the center of it at this spot, more or less. It's interesting how some cemeteries have like a new section and an older section. It looks like this one, they're just pretty much intermixed, the new and the old stones. Maybe they have funerals here? Well, that's interesting. I've never seen something set up like this before. Yeah, I'm thinking this is probably where they have funerals. They have an owl on top. Yeah. Scare off the crows and the other birds with those owls on top. Let's see if the crow is scared by the owl. Well, it didn't land. Maybe the owl did its job. No, if you go first, I'm going to carry your ashes around in an urn with me and be morbid about it.
That's fine. I don't really care.
Have conversations with you, and you'll have to listen to all my ramblings.
That's true.
And there'll be nothing you can do to make me be quiet.
I won't be around. So it won't make a difference.
Oh, you'll be listening. Well, obviously, as I was strolling past, the sculpture of an airplane on this tree trunk definitely caught my eye, and it turns out there is a story behind it. Apparently, there was a group of people who were commemorating the Civil War soldiers who were buried here by having a plane pass overhead, dropping poppies as it went, and the plane actually hit a tree and killed the pilot. So this is the tree that caused the accident, and they have carved this sculpture out of the tree to commemorate that terrible event, actually. That is definitely not something you see in every cemetery. So I guess this was the plot with the Civil War dead, that the pilot was flying over, scattering the poppies when the fatal plane crash occurred. There is definitely a lot more going on in this cemetery than I realized. Oh yeah, this is Adlai Stevenson. Served as governor of Illinois, twice made unsuccessful bid for the office of U.S. President. And here's where he has been laid to rest. So is that his actual grave over there? So which is his actual grave? That right there? Or that right there?
Well, that's his dad.
Oh, that's his dad?
Yeah, he was vice president.
Oh, okay. Two Stevensons. Two Adlai Stevensons. I guess I didn't know there was a vice president of the United States, Adlai Ewing Stevenson.
Under Grover Cleveland.
Well, that's why I didn't know. Who knows anything about Grover Cleveland? One of our most boring presidents. And this one, you not only get a cemetery tour, you get history snark. So what's the story of that one? Charles Oldhouse Radbourne. It seems there is also a famous baseball player who is buried in this cemetery. And here is the reason I decided to stop and explore this cemetery. I had read online about this statue of Dorothy and Toto from The Wizard of Oz, and I guess the reason why the statue is put here is because L. Frank Baum, the author of The Wizard of Oz, named Dorothy after, I think it was his niece, who had died as a baby. And she is buried here in the cemetery. And when the tree that was near her grave died, they decided to make this memorial to her with this sculpture of her namesake. Dorothy Louise Gage. She died when she was 5 months old. And her uncle, L. Frank Baum, named the character Dorothy after her. So now that I have found the statue, I think I will say goodbye for now. This is the thing that I wanted to see the most, as when I was a little girl, I loved The Wonderful Wizard of Oz and the whole series. Read them again and again and again. So I guess in that way, little Dorothy is still remembered. I hope you will join me on my next adventure. Bye for now.